rhymes always positive surging. Cosmic force, the emergence. Brain of eternal, hands on my time. Impossible prince can God watch you step in the mind. Soul triggers, power, holy divine righteousness. Combined with courage, love of essence. Don't let trauma bind and block your blessings. When you behind the veil, you hear the confession. Give you limitation, corruption, fear, deception. This the age of knowing, evolution, and resurrection.
Welcome back to another episode of Talk That Crap. I just want to say I've been away for a couple of weeks. I had some death in the family, so I haven't did an episode for about 2 weeks. But we're back now. I'm back focused, and I just want to say thank you for everybody who reached out and shared love to the family. We welcomely appreciate you. We thank you for that. And today episode is going to be a good one. I did have another guest was supposed to be on with me, but we understand that life happens and they wasn't able to be on today. So in that essence, the show must go on. So with that being said, we sitting here talking about, I don't know, have y'all seen this amazing show on Apple TV called Dark Matter? If you don't have Apple TV, find somebody who got Apple TV and then watch a show called Dark Matter. Just came out not too long ago, like in May. I had a friend of mine that showed it to me, and ever since she showed it to me, it just put me on a whole different place as far as what they were kind of really telling the story about the quantum world and what's really going on in the quantum world. And sometimes we don't talk about that, or if we hear someone talk about it, we feel that it's so far fetched that we're not, in layman terms, we don't really get that. And so I'm looking to share some different symbology as far as what was really happening in that show, Dark Matter. Also, what happened was it was a it was a vision I had when I was in the meditation, and it was in this corridor, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. But it was in this full corridor, and I called it one thing, but after I watched Dark Matter, I labeled it something totally different. So we're gonna be talking today just about the reactions to Dark Matter, the whole show. It's nine episodes. An amazing show. The writing, not so good. The conversations they have as far as with the doctors and the physicists, those who understand the quantum realm, they have some very interesting conversation. If you listen to those conversations, they tell you exactly how and what they're actually doing in that particular time. So Dark Matter was, like I said, it was a great show. I really enjoyed it. I don't binge watch anything, like nothing. It something that take me 9 shows that take me about 2 weeks to watch. 'Cause I'm just not gonna do 9 shows in that short period of time. This one got me, y'all. This one got me. I did binge it. I binged it in about 48 hours. I had watched all of it. And I'm not a binge person, but I did. I binged the hell out of that one. That one threw me off in a good way. In a good way, it threw me off in such a good way. So I was definitely greatly appreciative. So we're talking about the reaction. So the basic of this particular show is there's one guy is a physicist, if I'm not mistaken. His name is Jason, and he's from one world. Now, understand that they are coming from the perspective of parallel universe, and one doctor being able to harness the energy inside of a cube, that he was able to enter a quantum realm and go into the world where one Jason was, where he wanted to take his life and take him back to his world, and then sit there and play out in his world. So he took someone that didn't understand anything about anything. Hey, peace, King. thank you, man. Welcome back. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah. So this dark matter, man. It when when we really understand that we are able to move between worlds, that's the most powerful thing that you can really understand, because they shared with you that it was an aspect of the mind that's actually shut down, that is consciousness cannot grasp, because consciousness is not able to grasp the infinite. Your unconscious mind is infinite. That is the all. Everything that you ever can need, want, desire resides in your unconscious, subconscious mind. That is where it all is. So in dark matter, when they was down this corridor, they showed you these infinite doorways. And so the premise of the show, still, again, we're talking about one guy. Of course, he's Caucasian, that wanted to go take the life of another personality of himself, to take him from his world, and so he can take his life, because he had the wife, he had the kid, he was just a teacher. And on the other side, the doctor, he was a world-renowned doctor. He had all of these, he had all his wealth, he had all of these different things that he had, but he still wasn't happy. He wanted someone else's life. So it come to show me as well, is that someone else can have the perfect life that you think, but when they actually go in there to actually live your life, they find out your life wasn't perfect, and they're not from this world, so they don't have the same attachments that you have to this world. So then the attachments really came into place, because the thing about the doctor that was taken from the original world, as he had to find himself back to his wife and his child. His whole mission was to find himself back to his wife and his child. Now I'm gonna tell you, because this show hit me in ways, because as I stated, I had a meditation that I went into, and it showed this whole long corridor. And I had labeled it down the hallways memories. So I say this is part of man hallway memory, because you know, when you ask somebody how they doing, instead of they telling you how they doing in the present, they're telling you a memory or a feeling that they had something happened in the past. So they're not really even aware that they're even telling you something about their past, but that's where they are. And it's okay. It's okay. It's just where that individual happens to be at that particular time. So in the show, it really showed that how someone can envy a life without understanding what it really takes to really embody and enhance the life that they're actually living, because they don't appreciate the life that they already have. Dark matter really, it gave precedent to how many times that in our minds, because in this, let me go back to go forward. Once they took this drug that shut down parts of the frontal cortex of the pineal, then they would begin to be in this what they call and I'm back. Am I still alive? Am I still alive? Yeah, yeah. We lost a little bit of power, but it's coming back on in just a second. But yeah, everything had happened in such a way where the the doctor, he wanted to find himself back to his wife, back to his children. He had to get back to his son. He knew the world that he knew. He didn't realize that, hey, you know what? I know that this doctor may have all the things that he may want to have, but that's not who I am. That's not what I represent. That's not the people that I love. So in this corridor, they kept going from door to door. And he said they realized that the doors were 12 foot apart. So they used the numbers. They also used the cube. So they used a full cube looking like Metatron's cube. So the cube was actually the way that they traveled. The cube was the way that they actually entered this hyperdimensional state of mind. So once they go inside the cube, they inject themselves with this drug. It shuts down the frontal cortex, and then now they're actually able to enter different worlds. The beautiful thing about this is every time they open the door, they actually entered a whole new world. See, in my visions, it was thought of me being to the place of they were just memories. No, even though memories can take us into worlds, they can take us down rabbit holes and things of that nature. That is true. That is true. The thing about it all is they both the emotion that they was feeling when they walked through the door determines how they felt when they walked through the door, what kind of world they was going to experience. So if you were sad, depressed, cold, angry, you started to experience world that defined that, not from the consciousness, from the unconsciousness. Because the world, even the world that we experience now is coming from our unconscious mind. It's not coming from the 10% that we think that we say we use in our mind that we say we know what we know what we know. When the majority of what we know we were taught by someone else that has the definition behind the thing that you say you know what you know you know. So in dark matter, they even shared that with you. They share with you how they're able to manipulate a particular storyline, and they just moving it from one aspect of time to another aspect of time. So like the box, the cube that he built, it has um, a GPS lateral or numerical direction. It's always come in that particular place, no matter where at in time in this parallel universe. They always come back to the same place. So the majority of these places where they're visited, there was a building already built around the box. So in just about every world, we understood that they understood about how to travel between worlds. If they didn't understand how to travel between worlds, they were attempting to travel between worlds because there were a box in every world. That's the only way that it can take place. Is either that it already happened, or that it was already attempting to happen. And it was just like I said, it was something that makes you sit and go, hmm, how was that? Because for them to openly share with you that your thoughts and your emotions determine the worlds that you enter, and it's really your consciousness. It's really how you define what it is that you define. It is how you respond to your own frequency. Like, how do you respond to your own understanding of consciousness? Like, do you understand how you create your own world? So a lot of us don't think we create our own worlds. A lot of us think that someone else, that yeah, even though you go to work, you may go to work. Are you fulfilling that purpose, or are you fulfilling your purpose? Because you can go to a job and never have a desire to do anything else but work your job, and then that's a world that you live in. That means every day you wake up and you walk into this world where you're only enhancing someone else's life, and they get to pay you. My mentor told me all the time, the person that can pay you, keep the light bills on, and have all the things and still go on vacation while you at work, them the people that's wealthy. And I understood that. So in dark matter, he had all the wealth in the world, yet he still had to go into someone else's world and take what wasn't his because he didn't have it. He didn't make those choices. He didn't have those experiences. And to tell you how crazy it is, when he came into the world where he took his opposite, his doppelganger. When he came into the world, when he took his doppelganger, he missed certain things that he was supposed to remember. So that just started throwing off red flags, like something is not right. Something is not right. So some of you right now may be dealing with a doppelganger. Maybe that individual may be from another world. Maybe they come from a parallel universe and they have remnants or they have studied your habits and your mannerisms, yet may not understand the depth of who you are. They may not know you truly emotionally, because that's where the doppelganger failed at, because he didn't understand the emotional connection that the original Jason had for his family. He didn't understand the love he had for his family because he never experienced it. He never loved anybody. He was a loner. He was single. He only worked. He only lived to create what he created, which was the box. That's his whole thing, was the creation of the box, to be able to travel to multi worlds, and which is such a beautiful thing. Because a lot of times people don't think that's possible. I have multi-dimensional travel multiple times. And I took a travel, and there were times where I just took a transcendental meditation and I took a travel. So it all depends on the moment that I was actually in. But definitely those doorways, entering different doorways, it's real. So I'll say this to those who are listening. I correlate that to the emotion and feelings that you have every single day, or the dream that you go towards, or the desire that burns within inside you on a daily basis. When you open that door, how do you feel about when you open that door? Do you believe when you open that door that you opening the door of success and wealth and tranquility? Do you believe that you at a place of peace and understanding and love? So the thing about it is, when you enter these worlds, when you enter your thought moments, your because your thought patterns are world. I'm gonna say it again. Your thought patterns are world. If someone else has said and coined it, I'm not biting them. I'm just saying your thought patterns are worlds. And I'm not really into what somebody else be saying. So when you understand your thought patterns of world, you begin to understand that how some people can get up every day and feel the same way. They just return back to the same frequency and it's repeat that same thing over and over and over and over and over again. So there was a point, it was an episode called Worldless. And in this particular episode, they just went from world to world to world to world to world. And he was looking for, again, he in search of his wife. Like his whole mindset is, I have to make it back to my wife, my son. They are out there, they probably don't even know I'm gone. But what he didn't realize, what he actually ended up putting together is, there's another Jason playing him, because there was somebody else in his world, which they thought was him, playing himself. So he said, I kidnapped myself. Now, ain't that something? Some of y'all may be kidnapped by your own self, by your own mental, by your own thought process, by the own world that you walk into. You could kidnap yourself and keep yourself hostage. You could tie yourself up. You could drop yourself in the world where your true nature is unrecognizable. They don't recognize his friends, his surroundings, his homes, everything about everything he does or she does doesn't even sit right no more. It was a beautiful thing because a lot of times we look to make changes in our lives, and then when the changes happen and the changes are so drastic, when it's so drastic and they put you into a whole other world, that just scares the bejeebies out of a lot of people. Like they don't know what to do when you in a whole new world. Like you in a whole new world. What do you do now? You're not able to get back to the world that you once came from. That was the whole thing about the world, is when the doctors, the psychiatrists, to help him leave the one world, to help him get back to his world. When she left him, she couldn't return to that world. So she became pretty much like a deserter. You know, I leave this world in a world I can't return to. So they went to so many worlds, and they end up finding one of her colleagues that went out, and her colleague told her, say, look, you in and out this box, you in and out this box. You better find a world that you want to be in, and don't worry about nobody else. Because she understood that, hey, when you go in and out of reality so much, and you in somebody else's reality, and you never in yours, you can get stuck in someone else's reality. And that was the whole thing. A lot of times, you know, some people may be stuck in someone else's reality. Someone right now may be listening to this, and they're actually acting in their life based upon what somebody else wants versus what they want. Again, it's okay for others to have input about what it is that can be beneficial in your life. And by all means, if you're a person that's seeking understanding and wisdom, you take heed to when someone shares information with you, and you weigh that information based upon the knowledge that you already have and you possess, based upon the fact of what a path that you're going. So as they went from door to door to door, they began to learn about things about themselves, about their mental, about their psyche, about their emotions, about the worlds that they was experiencing. And that's the very beneficial of understanding every day, that when you get up, what world are you experiencing every single day? Does your world bring you peace? Does your world bring you joy? Does your world bring you a place where you're able to enhance your life for the betterment of your family? Are you able to build anything in your life for the betterment of your children, for your niece, your nephew, your cousin, your aunt, your brother, your sister, for anybody in your life? You know, if you're, what are you doing for you, and what are you doing for others? That is the whole focal point of this, because one person had so much he could do for so many, and instead of him doing and reaching back and helping and building worlds, he went to worlds and just pretty much preyed on them like a savage. So when a lady, I don't remember her name, she was like a Hispanic lady. She played in a lot of different movies as well. Well, she got to this world where he said, okay, we got a couple of more places we can go before. And she said, I'm not going no more. This the world I'm staying in. This the world I'm going to reinvent myself in. So understanding she had to reinvent herself in a world where she had never been before. Even though she had looked like somebody else, even though she could have that same person's name, she got the driver's license right then and there. She got the passport right in there. She got the bank account right then and there. She got all of those things right in there. She wasn't that person. She was actually from a whole nother world. Some of y'all right now are in a whole nother world, and y'all don't even know it. That's why sometimes y'all wake up and y'all feel strange that the world that y'all in, it's not your own. It may be not. Maybe you may be in a parallel loop. You may be in a place where you're in the confusion, where you're looking and elevating to go from one aspect of reality to another. And in that reality, you're like, I'm not really sure. So the one thing that they had to really face in there was their inner world. Because see, both parties had when they opened that door, It depends on what both people, because it was two people in the corridor at the same time. So if it's just one person in the corridor, whenever you go in, whatever world you experience is going to be based upon how you feel emotionally, psychologically, consciously, and unconsciously. You're going to experience that particular world. So at one particular time, they realized that the thoughts that they had right before they opened the door were some of the things that they were experiencing. So then they began to change the way that they were thinking, and they began to have different experiences in the world. It's the same thing. They're sharing with you right now in the quantum realm that your thought experience and create the worlds that you experience. Whether you are living in a world that you're sick and unhealthy, you can change that world by making different decisions. The decision that you make can change everything in your life. If you're dealing with something and you don't know how to do it, you need to create a new skill. Well, then work on creating a new skill, and then that'll go away as well. People always want to tell me what they're not able to do, and I said, yeah, you're able to do anything you put your mind to. You may not know the skill, or may not have the ability to do it right now. I don't know what just happened. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, so you may not desire, you may not have the same desire it is for someone else that has the same skill as you. That doesn't mean that you're not able to learn the same skill. You may not be able to learn at the same capacity or speed as another individual. You still have the ability to learn that. So this Dr. Jason, there was one point where he actually ended up taking one guy that created a particular drug for him. He took him and he dropped him off in another world. And he thought the one doctor, he thought he was just going to see something magnificent. And when he got inside that box and he got inside that quantum world, and when they got out of that box, he said, "This is a beautiful world." And the guy stepped right back to that box, jumped out of that box, and let him go. See, those were inner worlds. Every time you went into a place where you really desired to be, and that place was beautiful. The sights were beautiful. You know, the radiance, the ambiance in that particular city, it just resonates with you. That's something that your inner world creates. Now, what a lot of time we as individuals may not understand that our inner world create the storms and hurricanes in our life. So you may have an individual that wake up in the morning, and I work a morning job. Sometimes I'm at work 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes there are people that can actually, you know, come out into the world and be angry at 6:30, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. And I wonder myself, what kind of world they wake up to where they're angry that early in the morning? Like, what kind of life you got? That got to be really tough to really wake up in the morning and be angry every day, every morning. And that's the world you live into. And you know, when you go to sleep at night, when you wake up in the morning, that's the damn world you got to wake up to. That got to be exhausting. That got to be the worst thing in the world, you know, to create worlds like that on a constant basis. So the Dr. Jason left him. Then in one world, they began to investigate, and they was looking for the doctor that he had took to the other world. So now he not able to go back and get the same guy he dropped off in the world, because the guy gonna tell him, "Hey man, the dude that tried to kill me and drop me in this parallel universe," which that's gonna make him sound absolutely crazy. Okay. So what he did is went and got the same guy from another world. But when he brought him back, the guy that he brought into that world, his psyche was so messed up. He said, "I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm in the wrong. This is wrong." I'm in the wrong place. I'm a mechanic. I'm a mechanic. I don't know why y'all keep trying to tell me I'm a scientist. I'm not a scientist. So they were trying to tell him that he was one thing because one guy was a scientist. He was a very good scientist. And the other guy, he wasn't a scientist. He was a regular mechanic. He worked on cars. He worked on cars. So that is the extent of what um, of individuals will go through in order to just kind of keep you away from the thing that resides within inside of you. You know, that's your inner world. His inner world was able to set him free, but he had to find the his way back to his wife and child. The gentleman that they left in one world, they just left him in a world. So now he in a world that he's unfamiliar with. Now he's stuck in a world because the person that brought him to one world now dead. He no longer here. So now he's stuck in a world. So that to me, that signifies an individual being stuck in an inner world and not able to transmute and change the frequency of their world. Because again, every time they open up a door, depending on what you have emotionally and psychologically, is going to be the world that you experience. So the one guy, Jason, he experienced world after world where either he didn't know he wasn't married to the woman of his dreams, or his wife didn't know him, or his wife was really sick. So there was only one world where him and his wife were actually married and had children together. Now there was another world where he actually went into and he wanted to take the life of another person of him. Because he said now, see, he had two kids, he had twins. And so he went into a world where he actually now he could actually see both of his children. So he wanted to actually kill the man and take his life. So he realized how hard and how easy it was for someone to come in and take your life. And you don't even know it. Take you and drop you off into another world. Now everything looks strange to you. So some of y'all right now, things look strange to you. Well, you may be in another world. You may have been dropped off in another world. Maybe your spirit taking you to another level, and you had not recognized the power that resides within you, and so you need to awaken to your inner world, and you may need to understand that your inner world creates your reality. Maybe you need to understand that your inner world is your reality. Is your reality. I'm just saying. We're talking about inner worlds. We're talking about worlds that no one else sees. We're talking about worlds that you don't even speak about. See, psychological spiritual warfare, I know that's happening between all of us. It's all over the globe. So I know our inner worlds, if you're not studying the true science, yeah, your inner world can be a problem. Your inner world can definitely be a problem. So while they're going through these particular worlds and they went through this particular joint called worldless, they began to put back the pieces together. And the entanglement was when they got back, he finally made it back to his world, right? When he finally made it back to the world, he realized that there were other him that were there. There were multiple people that were there that were just like him from different worlds. So he said, wait a minute. So every decision that I've made inside of that corridor allowed another version of him to find their way back to his wife. Now, all of them wanted their wife and their son back. So now you got thousands of Jasons. Because again, every decision he made inside of that corridor, that gave up a whole different life. So only one Jason got kidnapped from another world. So they started with two, but based upon the decision that each one of them made, There were thousands. They had whole chat rooms with all the different Jasons, and they wanted to kill each other off so each other can be with the wife and child. This is, and they telling you this is all in the quantum realm. So they telling you right now that every decision that you make, whether you are aware of it or not, it actually takes place on a quantum realm. It happens. It happens whether you want it to happen or not. If you thought it and you decided, well, I'm gonna do this instead of that. If you said I'm gonna have chicken instead of beef, and one parallel word you had beef, and another one you had chicken. It's just that simple. And it was the beautiful part was the parallel universe is always split at a major decision. It's never anything casual, like I just said about eating fish and chicken. It's never that. It's always something that's very, very pivotal in the individual life. Once they make a decision in pivotal life, then they branch off. They have memories all the way up until that point where they made that pivotal decision, and then one made a decision to get married and have a child, and one made a decision not to get married and have a child. And they had two different lives. So from those two different lives, you had all of these different lives that actually end up taking place because they were actually experienced based upon their own quantum thoughts and their desire to get back home to his wife and son. It was like I said, it was an amazing show. It really touched on a lot of things, as I said, in the quantum realm, as far as what it is that they're telling you right in your face that your very thoughts create the world that you walk into every single day. You know, you are the doorway to the world that you create. You know, if you don't think your world is worth creating, and you don't want to have emotional input, if you don't want to have psychological input based upon the world that you create, that means you're giving up your power and you're giving up your will to create. You just giving it up. You forfeit it. You know, why forfeit your power when you came with all power? You came with all power. And I say this one thing about the path chosen. When you choose a path, when you choose a path, and the initial guy that created the box from the other parallel universe, he chose a path to abduct someone from another world that he desired their life. That was a path he chose. When he chose that path, he chose a path of destruction. It was only gonna fall back and destroy himself. Because he went to take something that wasn't his. And he went into other worlds, so he wasn't even familiar with the world that he was actually in. He didn't understand the function of the worlds that he was in. The same thing for us here today. Do you understand the world and the function in which you're in? Do you really understand? Do you really grasp the fact that your very thoughts that you think every single moment of the day create experiences in your world every single day? If you wake up in the morning and you say you're going to have a great day, don't you have a good day? If you wake up in the morning and say, oh, it's going to be a shitty ass Monday, don't you have a shitty ass Monday? Those are worlds. The path, that's a path chosen. When you choose a path to define something that does not enhance your life, where does that energy go? If you spend 40 minutes talking about something, granted, it may happen in your life. That may be a world that you had to experience. Granted, this is true. I'm saying that you spend another 40 minutes talking about the world that caused you the pain. I'm here to tell you, you're nothing but living in that inner world of pain. You keep opening the door every single day. You open that door of pain every single day. You open that door and walk right through that door of pain every single day. And there's even some people what they call woke people and conscious people and all that. They wake up every single day and they actually be in pain. Hotep, Ashe, Hotep, Ashe. And you talk to them and they goddamn going through hell. You're like, damn, what happened to all the Hotep and the Ashe and the, and those who come and they speak with power, they come and they speaking with power. And I'm not dissing the Hotep or the Ashe. You know what I mean? Like if that's what you say, that's what you say. I ain't knocking it. I say reign. You don't sit on your throne. We reign. So you get to say whatever you want to say based upon your own belief. I'm not knocking that. The inner world, the path chosen. What is it when you wake up in the morning and you choose a path to be a pessimist? What happens when you wake up in the morning and you choose a path of worry? What happened when you wake up in the morning? Because when you wake up in the morning, it's like coming out of a hyperdimensional sleep. Because we talking about quantum worlds. We're talking about coming out of corridors. We're talking about, where the frontal cortex, the frontal lobe cortex is being put to sleep. So now you actually enter all of these different worlds. You can go into these worlds. If you die in these worlds, you die in these worlds. You don't make it back. So all of these things are happening at one time. So here it is on your path chosen. What is the path that you choose every day, every second? If you have a significant other, whether it's a him or whether it's her, what is the path that you're choosing for y'all? Do you choose a path or you make sure you understand the love that you have? You're willing to sacrifice everything for her? You're willing to sacrifice everything for him? No, I ain't talking about sacrificing your life. I'm talking about maybe sacrificing your habits, maybe sacrificing the way that you think, maybe sacrificing the ideas that you once held when it comes to relationships or family or friends or anything, business. What happens when you can take another look at the path chosen, especially when we understand that we were actually, orchestrated in pure ignorance. So here it is to be in worlds which are mind blowing. You can't even understand the world that you're even in, the possibilities that you possess within you based upon your very thought. Just your thought. Your thought gonna create a frequency. And I say the reason why I said that inner worlds carries such weight to the people, because when someone speaks, they're defining from images, from mental and emotional energy. They're defining that thing based upon what makes them feel that way and the vision that they're seeing in their head. They're defining it from that. They are defining their life based upon your inner world. They're not defining their life based upon their conscious perception of what they want out of life. They are defining their life based upon what they're going through, and they're defining it based upon what they call reality, and they're telling you what's going on in their life. That's their inner world. And when you listen to people inner worlds today, a lot of people are not as joyous as they portray to be. The inner world they're not as happy as they want to be. The Packers, they wake up in the morning and they choose a path that doesn't get them to where they want to get to. They may choose a path that takes them around in a circle and they come back and they say, oh shit, let's do it again tomorrow. Then you hear some people say that. Hey man, you gonna do so and so today? Nah, man, I'll wait. I'll do that tomorrow, man. That's the path chosen. It ain't wrong. That's just the path that they choose. You gotta let the people be. So in this world, when he did all he can He finally made it back to his wife. When he made it back to his wife, she said, "How do I know it's you?" He said, "I'll tell you some things that I know that he don't know." So he told her some things that he don't know. And he said, "If you don't believe me, call me right now." And watch, he picked the phone up. So she picked the phone up and she called him. He answered the phone. And he said, "I'm gonna prove to you. Tell him that we went this place on vacation and we had a wonderful time." She said, "We had a horrible time." She said, "Yeah, but he don't know that. So he gonna agree with you and then you're gonna know who it is." So they became a little bit smarter because now they understood that, hey, this is somebody else portraying to be you. This is not you. So you people out there that trying to be like somebody else, we gonna find out who you are. You ain't gonna be able to stand long. You may act like me for a little bit, but you're not able to be me. Mm-mm. You're not able to be me. I see you coming. I see you coming in a whole nother world. I see you coming from the other world, from the old world. So yeah, that was that it's a great show. You know, I definitely really enjoyed it. It was something to make you say aha to. Like I said, I have I've been studying dealing and they showed you in what's the other show from Marvel? Doctor Strange and in the darkness with the Scarlet Witch. They showed you that she meditated and she took her consciousness into a whole nother world. And she was actually to have her same powers that she had in the world that she was, her physical body wasn't there, but her mental consciousness was. And she was able to have the same type of power there. They showed you then how she was going to all of these different worlds. They showed you also in Ant-Man on the quantum realm. They showed you all of these different worlds, all these people from all of these different worlds, all of these different species from all of these different worlds. They sharing with you that we're not alone. You know what I mean? And there are worlds that are side by side with us. And we got to stop being so, narrow minded that we believe that there are not worlds, within worlds. Like there are worlds within you as a what we call a human being, a divine being. There are worlds within you. You know, your chakra system is activated within worlds. All seven of your chakra system, and then they say you got what 72 on the back side, and then you got another 142 that goes without the body, and you got the whole meridian system. So all of these are inner worlds. All of these are inner worlds. And right now, a lot of times we don't pay attention to our inner world because we are too busy looking to do things to achieve materialistic things. And that was the whole thing about the one Dr. Jason that came that actually built the cube. He had all the money, he had everything he wanted. But the thing he didn't have, he had no wife, he had no child. And he envied the one that had a simple life, a school teacher, wife, and a child. He envied the one with the simple. So all of those who think that, that you have to be so great for someone to envy you, a lot of time the person that envy you is the person that's watching you live a great simple life, and they want your simple great life because he wasn't extravagant. He just teached at a college, and the guy wanted his life because he wanted to do something different in his world that he wasn't able to do in his own world. So he wanted to bring again a different level of control from one world to another world. Dark Matter, it's on Apple TV. Yeah, I would say if you really want to get into some quantum world, you should really check that out. Again, they telling you exactly what it is. They're telling you that they're injecting in their arm a drug that's actually shutting down the frontal cortex, lotex. I said lotex. The frontal cortex, the frontal lobe cortex is shutting it down in order for the individual to actually experience the hyperdimensional space, or what they call quantum space, or the quantum field at all times. Some people call it the 0 point field. It's been called all of these different things. The show is really, it was great. It was great. It was something that gave more insight upon some of the things and the vision that I've had when it comes to in and out of these worlds, and how to enter and out of these worlds. Some of y'all are afraid to go in and out of these worlds because you don't know how to, and that's the thing you got to be careful of too. Because again, you can enter a world, someone can see you, old doppelganger can see you, pop you upside your head, and then come back, and then now they you in your consciousness, and now they live in your life, and you trying to figure out how you can find your way back to the world that you just got abducted from. So that was the whole thing. My closing remarks is really a simple thing. Understand that your mind, your thoughts create the world that you experience on a daily basis. If you are experiencing on a daily basis things that does not give you love, peace, and joy, understand that that's the world that you're creating. Understand that the ideas that you have, if you're not having good luck in relationship, understand you're probably having bad relationships because those are the ideas that you carry in the depth of your mind. You may not have good ideas when it comes to relationships. My closing remarks that the world that you enter on a daily basis is totally up to you. You decide how you want to enter the world that you experience on a daily basis. How do you feel mentally? How do you feel emotionally? Because the one thing that was most importantly, and I almost forgot to say this. I do want to say this before I forget. The psychiatrist was supposed to be an action psychiatrist. She's supposed to prepare you for high levels of intensity. She's supposed to be able to keep you calm, keep your mind calm, and different things of that area. So that's the life that this doctor was supposed to live. But when she got inside that corridor and she started all those doors, she went to freaking out. Because guess what? She was not ready. When you hypothetically, when you're doing something, that's one thing. When you actually have to live that, and you actually have to have those experiences, that's totally different. That's totally different. And I tell you, that was one of my closing remarks is it doesn't matter what you know. What it matters is what you experience. So that's why I used to always tell people, and I tell people to this day, when we have disagreements, I'm not saying that who right or wrong. What I'm saying is I had this particular experience, and I had to pay attention to the experience that I just had because I participated in the experience. So to blame someone in the experience, it kind of like default takes me away from it. So now, if I'm having an experience, I participate in that experience. That means I qualified that experience because I'm the one that had it. And I tell you, Dark Matter is a great show to go check out. I know if you check out, if you're into the quantum realm, if you're into the higher sciences, if you're into understanding that your thoughts make up worlds, if you're into understanding that your spiritual journey is really in your thoughts, it's really in your mind, you can enter the doors of anything, of infinite possibility, because there is no end to the world that you can walk into and what you're able to do. So in that, I'm saying, people, always love life to the fullest. Never let no one tell you, how to live life. Search it, explore it, go after it. Do the thing that you once would never do. Enter a world where you never entered before and become that which you always desire. Be who you always dreamed to be, and don't let no one tell you any different. Peace, love, prosperity.
Line of haters observe but not to support, to discourage. Vision so passionate it's disturbing. Create a rise, I was positive surgeon. Cosmic folks see emergence. Brain of eternal, hands on my time. Impossible prince can God blessings. When you behind the veil, you hear the confession.